my day, and nothing out here is going to stop me. And you have the power to do that. You can decide that you're going to change.
Unbelievable start to this fight. Able to a good job. Vicious right hand. And the referee has already stopped the fight. Mamma mia! Matisse, oh, and fires off the right hand. Jose goes down. Mora has stopped the fight. Lucas Matisse has won. He knocks him down in the flat with a beautiful right uppercut. Wow!
I'm in control here. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this destroy me. I'm coming back.
We all know Fury, you just a phony, man. This is just for act. You know where I am, you know what time, you know what place. I ain't scared of nobody. I'll come in your backyard, baby, for that, my man.
Listen, anytime, any place, anywhere, I'll fight you in your backyard. Like a dumb Klitschko, I'll beat you, you bull, you're a bull.
Gonzalez drops Motta from the left hook. He's hurt. He's hurt bad, guys. He was rattled by that left hook by Gonzalez in round one. Goes down again. Mamma mia! Gonzalez has done it. Right hand by Fun. Coming forward. Stevenson bending over. Stevenson goes down with a straight right hand. And drops Pavlik for the first time in his career.
To set up the hand, not just take the legs out from the guy.
Goes hook. The first time in his career he has been knocked to the canvas. Can he get up? 30 seconds left to go. Pavlik trying to pull off the upset. He hits him again. Hook is in major trouble. It's over. It's over.
A sensational right hand knockout by a bloody Juan Manuel Marquez, and that is the keystone moment of his career.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Jeremy Sports Network coming to you live. Hey, you guys, we've been away for a while, right? And we're finally back with another show, and I'm excited. It's fight week. We have two of the best middleweights possible to be engaging in this fight, with Triple G taking on Saul Canelo Alvarez live September 16th in T-Mobile Arena. This is going to be perhaps one of the best fights we've seen in a long time. And when I say best fights, I mean, we could put it up there with Hagler versus Hearns, right? We could put it up there with Sugar Ray and his big fights that he had. We could put it up there with, well, this is going to be better than Mayweather-Pacquiao, right? This is going to be better than Mayweather-McGregor, right? This is nothing to play with. This fight right here is a really good fight, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in this fight. Now, today is a really good day. We have special guests that's going to be on the show. Mr. Kelly Pavlik himself, former Undisputed World Champion. He will be covering the whole entire fight with his co-host, James Dominguez. Those are really good guys. And I'm telling you, go ahead and follow the show now, The Punchline, on Facebook, on YouTube. Make sure you follow and subscribe. You will have good content in that fight. And this is tell of the tape, right? We did everything leading up to this fight. We prepared. We took a week off, but for 2 weeks straight, we prepared for this fight. We did the Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Miguel Cotto study session. And there were some things in that fight that we saw that don't sit well with me with Canelo. And we also did Triple G versus Daniel Jacobs film study. And we saw some things in Triple G's game as well that we didn't like. But it's leading us up to me making my prediction of this fight. It's not going to be today, but I'm just gathering in everything possible from what everybody is saying with their reasoning on why they believe this particular fighter will win, or their reason on why this particular fighter will win. Because it means a lot to me, because everybody has good opinions, especially those who have been a part of a fight of this magnitude, right? That's one thing we haven't done. We haven't interviewed anybody who has been in a fight of this magnitude as of yet. And the guy who has been in a fight of this magnitude is Kelly Pavlik. He's been there. He knows what it takes. He knows the dedication. He knows the hard work that you have to put in to prepare for a fight of this magnitude at the middleweight division. And I'm talking, this is big time. This is nothing to play with. If you was smart, those of you, if you could afford to pay for the Mayweather McGregor, that's good. But this is where your money should go. I'm not here to tell you, how to dictate your household or whatever the case may be. But if you was a smart person, this is where you will put the money up to watch this fight. This is a really good fight. And I'm really looking forward to this fight happening. Now, there's one thing in particular, right, that I feel as though we may have to talk about, is the sacrifice, right? Fighters are making really big time sacrifices to prepare for a fight of this magnitude. And what I'm talking about is Triple G making a sacrifice to miss the birth of his child in preparations for this fight against Canelo. That's big time. That's when you know you're in something big, something that's special. That's when you know it. And the fact that he did that, I'm a father. I have 3 kids, 3 boys, right? They are 8, 7, and 4. I saw every single one of my children born. Every single one. And those are highlights of my life. The 3 biggest highlights of my life, right? Not taking away anything from Golovkin at all. But think about this. That's a big sacrifice. So you know he's taking this fight serious. He's taking it very serious. And for those of you who are sitting there saying, oh, well, Triple G is not going to be ready. Triple G don't look like he's in shape. Triple G don't seem as though he's going to be on the level of Saul Canelo Alvarez. You're tripping. You're tripping big time. Shouts out to ESPN for giving us that information. Because that's how I found out. But this is going to be awesome, though. And we're going to get world champion Kelly Pavlik on the phone. And we're going to interview and talk about this fight. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen between these fighters. Right? I'm really looking forward to that. So let's go ahead and get Kelly on the phone. So if you guys could bear with us for 1 second. We're about to get this world champion on the phone so he can give us his take on this fight. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the undisputed world champion himself, Kelly. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing good. Just busy as all else, which is a good thing. Just staying busy and getting pumped up for this weekend.
Well, we thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. We know you're getting ready to head to Vegas to cover this full entire event. But I want to know your take on this fight with Triple G versus Canelo.
Man, it's kind of one of them fights where, as a boxing fan also, I don't really want to put a prediction because I'm not quite sure. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I guess, from what I've been telling other people, if there's anybody I'm going to lean towards Canelo in this fight. Because there's two different things on both sides that make it hard. I lean towards Canelo because he looked sharp in his last couple of performances, and he's getting. I know he has a lot of fights, but he's getting better with his age maturity too. On the flip side of it, you got a guy like Triple G, who is the big middleweight, natural middleweight. So he's obviously going to have the advantage. I don't care what Canelo walks around at or how that, people don't understand that in the fight game. It's not how much he walks around at, it's what he fights at and who's hitting him at the weight that he's fighting at. I give Triple G that, and also Triple G's power is, he's a very hard puncher. And when you punch that hard, you have a one advantage in the fact of you don't know anything can happen at any time. A fight can change with one punch. You know what I mean? Or even in the first round, you can change your game plan as soon as somebody feels that power. But the reason why I say I lean towards Canelo is Triple G in his last two fights at Del Brook and Jacobs, he looked very muscle tired, muscle weary, muscle fatigued. If you go back watch the Del Brook, he's like shaking his arms out like his arms ain't warmed up yet. And the bad thing is I think they were warmed up too much. You know what I mean? I think they were done. And the same thing with Jacobs. By those middle rounds, he looked petered out. And then obviously, once you start getting muscle where you're exerting more energy to try to throw, and you start getting fatigued, cardio-wise. That's why I think if Canelo could get past boxing sharply, and if he can get past the fourth round, I see it becoming a fight that he has a very, very good chance of winning, in those later rounds. So that's why I think it's a very fun fight to sit back and watch because I couldn't really tell you for sure a winner. You know what I mean? It's just one of the fights that are up in the air, and anything can happen in that fight.
Right. Well, let me ask you, Kelly. You've been here before. You know what it takes. You know the sacrifice, the dedication, everything it takes in order to be a part of a fight of this magnitude. Right now, leading up to the fight, what do you think is going through these fighters' mind?
Well, they've been through it too. So that's a good question. And no matter how many times you go through a big fight, they ain't going to stop your nerves. You know what I mean? You get anxious, you get nervous, and if any fighter says, no, I don't get nervous, they're full of shit. Because at some point they do.
Right.
Every fighter I've talked to has. But yeah, that's not going to change. That's just human nature and the way it is. People get nervous going up on stage and talking in front of 10 people. So they get nervous. Some fighters do. They get nervous doing that. They're going to be nervous going in against another top fighter who's trained to fight. But once that bell rings, the experience is how to deal with it, and how you react, and how you stay in the right mind frame on that level, and at a high stage like that, where you got millions of fans watching. You know what I mean? So these guys have already been there through that, and they've seen that. So they shouldn't have a hard time with that. But leading up, man, it's the butterflies, the fun, and you have all the way to that first bell ring. And fun though. It's a rush again, and it's great. But we'll see how which one of these guys if that gets catches up to him. I think if anybody, to be honest with you, it would probably be Triple G because I think Canelo had more meaningful fights, bigger fights, just at a different weight class than Canelo has. But Canelo also had this hype around him now, this media attention and hype, even though he wasn't really fighting the guy like Canelo was. So he's already kind of introduced to it himself.
Right. Well, Kelly, I mean, there's another question that I wanted to ask you. Throughout that middleweight division as a whole, we know there's a lot of big fights that's coming up outside of Triple G and Canelo with the Erickson-Lubin fight, taking on Charlo. Do you think any of those guys, after everything with Lubinson and Charlo, do you think one of them have a chance to maybe beat a Triple G or a Canelo?
Yeah, you got to remember too, everybody ages different. Triple G is not a spring chicken at all in boxing. You hear in baseball, and this is where like when people ask me about retiring and I come back, you see they announce a guy off the bat like say a Victor Martinez, this 35-year-old veteran, because naturally at age your reflexes ain't what you were at 22. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's in baseball. So can you imagine boxing? Everybody ages different, and that might be something with Triple G too. I think he's older than me, or same age. So we don't know if maybe if this sluggish way that he fought the last few times is father time with him. Like I said, everybody's different. But with Charlo and these guys, they haven't really impressed me that much at their weight class now. So as far as beating a Triple G, I think the only way that is if we see a very old older guy an age, a guy that fights like his age, and then takes a little bit of a beating, and then 4 months from now, 5 months from now, the fight's made with him, and he's even more worse for wear. You know what I mean by that?
Right.
That's the only chance that I really see with those guys coming up to beat Triple G. Fighting the Canelo, because Canelo's more naturally spotted the way that they fight at. So it'll be a little more competitive that way. Triple G still hits that hard to change anything, and he's good enough where he's going to land them hard punches at least a couple times a fight. So
back to the fight with Triple G and Canelo. What about Triple G's his jab? I know one thing that Triple G has is the jab, and he's able to land his jab beautifully in that fight. Do you think that's going to be a problem for Canelo? In the way that Triple G cuts off the ring and he walks you down with that Mexican style of boxing, do you think that's going to be a problem for Canelo that maybe tire him down in the later rounds?
It could be, but again, is the fact that Canelo going to be one of the better defensive fighters that, I hear a lot of people knock Canelo for his defense, and it befuddles me. Canelo's a sharp fighter, and, he's very tactical defensively. The thing is, no matter what Triple G is going to do, my concern is Triple G going to be able to do that for a period of time, or for round after round? Or is he going to stay? Because Triple G is going to be making him miss more than any other fighter that he fought. And, he's going to have to double what he's doing to try to be effective against Canelo. So what happens in the 4th round, the 5th round, 6th round, when he keeps doing that and he's trying to hit a more elusive Canelo? And then, you got to remember Canelo's got a pretty good jab, too. I think Canelo's going to be one of the best skilled fighters that Triple G's fought. And other than Kell Brook, but Kell Brook was a welterweight. Again, I don't care what he walked around at. That was a welterweight.
Right.
So I think that Canelo's going to want to establish a very good job of himself, or try to just keep him in and keep him that distance, keep him away. I don't think Canelo should run at all from Triple G. I don't think he should fight afraid, but I think he should keep the distance, more of an in and out with Triple G, because to me, Triple G pushes a lot of his punches recently too, instead of having that snap on him. So that, inches and angles, if he can get himself out of range by just enough to where he can counter and make Triple G start paying for that, Canelo stands again a very good chance. And but you hopping on what you said, if Triple G could do that for a period of time, over a period of rounds, then I see him there. He should be able to win that fight. But I just don't see him being able to do that.
Right. It is going to be tough come Saturday night. Well, Kelly, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. I know, are you guys going to do a show on tonight?
Yes, we are. We'll be on at 6 o'clock tonight. And then, we have I think we have, I guess James had that set up. I'm not sure on that. I've been totally busy with everything, getting ready to go. But yeah, we're going to hop on a Triple G fight, of course, and I think we're going to go over the fights this past weekend. So it'll be a nice show.
Oh, well, it's going to be awesome. Well, one quick question before you leave. Is Roman Chocolatito done?
I look at that fight, and that's a very good question. I heard the commentator say that he's done, and he's not the same. It could have just really been an off night for him. That kid that he fought, could have had his number. I mean, he fought one time, and he had all this training camp, how many months to prepare and go back over film. Chocolatito is not a very, he don't change his game style up much. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not hard to get ready. But I don't know to say if he's done. I would say for him to take another fight, and if he looks like he did in this fight, then I would say, hang him up. You got to remember, he just fought a fight with this guy before to a very controversial decision. So it could have been a bad night and something just not being his way. Believe me, that happens in boxing too. You'll have your fans out there that don't know or may have had a couple amateur fights, but don't realize what it's like when you're fighting on a big stage and you don't got no teammates in there. And when it ain't your night, it sounds like you're making excuses, but you're not. And it could have been one of them nights, and it could have been a great night for his opponent, who seemed like everything he did was right, everything he threw was right and was landing sharp.
Right.
So I would not hop quick to it, but I would definitely say in his next fight, if he fights again, if he don't look like his old self or competitive, then I would be like, you know what, man, it's time to hang him up. Get out while it's good.
Right. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for your time. Everybody, please make sure you go and subscribe right now to The Punchline with Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez. They will be live tonight at 6 o'clock. And I'm telling you guys, you're going to get full coverage of Triple G versus Canelo from Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez. So make sure you subscribe. It's going to be an awesome event coming this weekend, and I look forward to it. Kelly, thank you so much, and we look forward to talking to you real soon.
Oh, definitely, and thank you, man. I appreciate it too. So, thanks.
All righty, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Have a good one. Well, there you go, guys. I mean, Kelly brought up a lot of good points as far as this fight is concerned, right? A lot of good points. He talked about, and we're going to go over what he just talked about. He talked about the fact that if you go and look at the last two fights, right, and we saw in that fight with Triple G versus Jacobs, the fact that Triple G did look a little sluggish, right? And then if you go back, we did not study the Kell Brook fight, but we all should have seen that fight. And in that Kell Brook fight, that fight right there showed a lot, because the points that Kelly just brought up, Kelly just said, the way that he was shaking his arms as far as like trying to loosen his muscles, maybe he overworked himself, right? And that's one thing I've heard that before when it comes to Gennady. His the way he works and the way he trains and prepares. I mean, the guy is always training, right? He's always getting prepared and getting ready. But is that more so of Oscar De La Hoya's game plan before they took this fight with Triple G? You know, allow time to pass on, and then we take the fight when Triple G's a little bit up there in age. You know what I mean? It's some of those things that kind of raise questions to me when, you know, when Kelly brought up that good point. Now, also, another thing is, I saw in the fight with Canelo versus Cotto, you know, Canelo getting tired in the latter rounds. And we also saw it in the Erisland and Lara fight. I saw it a little bit in the Lara fight as well. But we seen that. And if Triple G is able to do what he do as far as bringing that Mexican style of boxing, coming straight forward towards Canelo, not only coming straight forward, but cutting off the ring and making Canelo fight on his back foot, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. But the thing is, can he do it for 12 rounds against a guy of this magnitude? Of course, they sparred before. People want to talk about the sparring session that they had. Yes, they sparred. But it was a long time ago. And Canelo was a different fighter. You know, Triple G, now this is what people been saying. And I've read, you know, I'm a part of some media emailing lists. I've read emails of things that took place in that sparring session. We seen some footage that's already out there in that sparring session. But, you know, Canelo's a different fighter. He has much more experience. He's fought some of the best that is out there right now. And you can't take nothing from him. He's really good, really good. And we're going to get to the tail of the tape of these two fighters because I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen in this fight. Now, here we go with the tail of the tape. Triple G, 35 years old, fighting Canelo, a guy who's 27. Triple G has the height. Canelo is an inch shorter, maybe, but Triple G has a reach. That 74-inch reach with that jab, to me, this is just for me, I think it's going to be a problem. Now, as far as the experience in the ring, this will be the 51st fight of the 52nd fight, I believe, of Canelo's career. And this will be the 38th fight for a guy in Triple G. But total rounds as far as pro level goes to Canelo. But Triple G had a hell of a lot of amateur fights, you know, before he turned pro. And he had a much more longer amateur career than Saul Canelo Alvarez had. But Canelo made up for that kind of, if you say, from when he turned pro, right? But Triple G has never tasted defeat, never tasted canvas, undefeated. And one thing that stands out to me is the 33 knockouts, right, in 37 fights. But you got a guy in Canelo who has 34 knockouts, 49 fights. So his knockout power is there as well. It's there. These fighters, if you look at this fight, and like Kelly said, you know, both of these guys, they're the best right now in this division. But the more technical fighter, it has to go to Canelo. He's the technician. He can throw beautifully the 2, 3, the 4 punch combinations. We see that from Canelo. He's awesome at doing that. But with Triple G, we see, well, maybe it's because of the opponents that he's faced, right? The opponents that this guy has faced hasn't been up to par to the point to where he had to do a whole lot besides what we saw with the Jacobs fight, because he didn't have to do a lot against Kell Brook. He didn't have to do a lot against Willie Monroe. He didn't have to do a lot against Gabriel Rosado. He didn't have to do a lot against Lemieux, he didn't have to do a lot against a lot of these guys. Triple G didn't have to do a lot at all. Curtis Stevens, I mean, he had the knockout power. He dropped everybody, right? Quick, easy work. But Jacobs was able to take him to 12, and we was able to see a different Triple G that a lot of people right now are banking off of. And they say, you know, like they say in the fight game, you're only good as your last showing, right? That's what they say. People say that. Don't be mad at me. Don't shoot the messenger. But people really do say you're only as good as your last fight. And Triple G, in his last 2 fights, people are really banking on the fact that, hey, he looks sluggish. You know, it could be muscle fatigue, like Kelly said. It's some things that's in Triple G's game that's a little shaky right now, leading up to this fight with Canelo. We don't know what it is. But come Saturday night, we will see these 2 guys go at it. This is going to be a phenomenal event. And I can't wait. I'm telling you, September 16th is going to be awesome. Not only that, we got a lot of fights that came up that are still going to be going on September 16th as well. We have Billy Joe Saunders taking on Willie Monroe Jr. That's my boy. Willie's my boy. But these 2 guys will be going at it for the title. And Billy Joe Saunders he's ready. You know? I know Willie stays in shape. He's always in shape. He's 21-2. We know he fought Triple G before, and he lost to Triple G. But I believe that experience is going to help this man in this fight against Saunders, even though he's going to be traveling over to Copy Box Arena in the UK to face this man. Hey, I believe Willie is now prepared for the moment, right? He's prepared. But Billy Joe Saunders is no slouch. Everybody wanted to say that, you know, he was out of shape and he wasn't ready. As far as this fight is concerned, he wasn't taking it serious, right? And then we saw this man post this picture, right, on his social media, if you follow him on social media, and he looks ready. Body is in shape. And come September 16th, we're going to have a hell of a fight between Monroe Jr. and Saunders. I'm looking forward to that fight. It's going to be really good. And not only that, but we also got a fight that's coming up on October 28th, right, with Anthony Joshua versus Pulev. I told you guys this fight was coming. If you go and look at previous shows, you know, with the WBA coming down on Joshua and making him kind of hurry up and make a decision on what he was going to do, Pulev was his best option, right? Pulev was his best option. And this is going to be a really good fight. A really good fight in the heavyweight division. The heavyweight division is now about to unfold. We're looking to get one more fight set, and that's Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz. That fight is looked to be set for November 4th. They haven't said anything. They haven't released anything as of yet. Hopefully, by the end of this week or beginning of next week, we will have a decision on when this fight will happen between those guys. But Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev is going to be a phenomenal fight. I look forward to seeing that. And also, what we got in the heavyweight division is that mandatory of Deontay Wilder, right? He took the step-aside money. We know he took the step-aside money because he wouldn't be fighting this fight right now with Dominique Brazil. And these 2 guys will be going at it November 4th. And I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be a really good fight. Now, a lot of people ask, how did Bermane Stiverne, you know, become the #1 ranked mandatory fighter, right? Shouts out to Don King. That's all I'm going to say. Shouts out to Don King getting pretty much all of his fighters put in a mandatory position. It's something that's going on, you know, with the WBC Don King. Maybe Don King has something on somebody. But all his fighters, even Bermain Stavern, after losing to Deontay Wilder, still is the mandatory for Wilder. But he took that step aside money to fight Brasilia again. And I'm looking forward to that fight. That's going to be a really good fight. And I look to see what happened between those guys. But I'm telling you, boxing is taking off. I'm telling you guys, make sure you tune in right now because we're going to give you full breakdown coverage and everything of these fights leading up to these fights. And we want to see the middleweight division unfold because we're seeing the middleweight division unfold right now, right? And not only the middleweight division, but we're seeing the heavyweight division unfold right now. And I'm really looking forward to seeing come next year that welterweight division unfold with Errol Spence, Keith Thurman making his way back to the ring, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia maybe fighting each other on next year. Hey, I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be a great couple of years in boxing, and I'm just glad to be a part. But this weekend, it is going down, and I'm telling you, it's going to be a hell of a fight. But stay tuned and go and follow The Punchline with Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez. They're going to have great coverage of this fight. And also, y'all need to follow my good friend, Karen Tate. She is awesome. She's wonderful. She will be covering the fight as well in Vegas. So it's going to be a great weekend. You know, everybody is getting in position, you know, to do some big things. And I'm looking forward to all of the coverage that's going to be going on. I'm looking forward to all of the fans, the casual fans, the hardcore fans, of everybody who's going to be tuned in, who's going to be live, pumped and ready, who's going to buy the fight, not stream the fight, you know? Nothing against the streamers, but I'm saying, make the investment in boxing because this is what you can't take away. You can't take away big fights like this, you know? Mayweather is now gone. He's gone, you know? A lot of people criticize Mayweather for what he did in the Pacquiao fight. A lot of people criticized him, you know, with what he did in the McGregor fight. And to me, he made the Pacquiao fight look like a sparring session because he's just that good. And also in the McGregor fight, if you ask me, it was a good fight. It was a good fight. But, you know, a lot of people just still feel cheated from the sport of boxing from a guy in Mayweather. But to me, he did it the right way. He did it the right way. And I'm just saying, for you guys who are the hardcores and the casuals who are becoming hardcores because of the fights that we're getting this year, hey, buy the fight. Support the sport. We need it. We need it. And everybody know, you know, boxing is where you're gonna get the payday. MMA fighters know that. We're gonna start seeing MMA fighters make that transition into boxing to try to get that payday. You know, we're gonna start seeing that. But I'm saying you have to support the sport so we can continue to get the fights that we want as the fans, the voice of the people. We have to be the ones who support the sport so we can get these fights. And we're getting a really good fight. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm happy, I'm pumped, I'm excited. We're going to be coming back to you guys, you know, later on in the week to make a prediction on this fight. I mean, I'm like Kelly, you know, being a part of this, I really don't want to choose who's going to win between the two because I like both fighters. I love Canelo. You know, I've been watching Canelo for a long time. When I first started to see Canelo was when he stepped on the scene and he took on Sugar Ray. When he took on Sugar Ray, I saw that fight when he was on the undercard of Mayweather. and then I saw him fight Mayweather. No, and then I saw him fight Angulo, right? Beat the brake shoes off Angulo, which was a really good fight, if you ask me. That's when I became a Canelo fan. And I was like, wow, he's really good. He's going to be great. He's getting better each and every fight. And look at where he's at right now. Look at where he's at right now. He can really be the cash cow in boxing right now. It's Canelo. He's the man. And Golovkin is looking to take the throne away from this guy. Because right now, Canelo is the man. A lot of people have him ranked number one still, pound for pound, like Box Rick. A lot of people, you know, because not only that, but for what he's done so far in the sport. You know what I mean? That is why a lot of people still have him as their pound for pound fighter. And I don't have a problem with that. Not at all. Not when it comes to Canelo. Not when it comes to Canelo at all, because Canelo is really good, and he's going to show everything up until this point. He's going to show everything what he's learned up until this point come fight night. And I'm really looking forward to it. And the same thing for Triple G. Triple G is going to do the same exact thing. So I'm really looking forward to what these fighters are going to do. But like I said, this is Jeremy Sports Network. We're going to be bringing you everything live, all of the coverage from this weekend, leading up to everything. The grand arrivals are today for the fighters to be in Vegas. So they were in Vegas at about 11 o'clock. I believe they touched down. So they're there and they're ready. And we're going to get press conference. We're going to have a press conference for you guys. Not only the press conference, but we're going to have the weigh-in. And we're going to lead you up to the fight, you know. And it's up to you to make that purchase. We will have a live immediate reaction show for that fight. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready. I'm pumped. This is Jeremy Sports Network. I'm signing out. You guys have a wonderful evening. We will be coming back tonight to talk about the Willie Monroe versus Billy Joe Saunders fight. We're going to dig a little bit deeper into that fight and what to expect out of those two guys. And also those who are Chocolatito fans, you heard what Kelly had to say, you know. He made a good point, a point that I haven't heard yet, which is Roman has his number. Maybe Roman has his number, you know. Chocolatito, I heard that Chocolatito was talking about going back down to 112 and fight at 112 pounds instead of being up at 126, you know. But they said he was defeated before he went into that fight. I don't know, you know, so much about that, but at the same time, I hope he's not done because he's a really good fighter. He's a really good fighter, and we know what we're going to get from Chocolatito, but our best wishes are out to him, and we're looking forward to seeing what happens, you know, throughout his career. But this is Jeremy Sports Network. Like I said, we will be back later on today to discuss Billy Joe Saunders versus Willie Monroe Jr. Good fight. September 16th, Copper Box Arena. And I'm looking forward to it. This is Jeremy Sports Network signing out. Peace.